Stop telling yourself you're broken when your mind is so full of noise that you can't hear yourself even think. You might feel like you're broken, but that's simply not true. You know that feeling, the one where you get home on Tuesday evening, you get the kids fed, you get homework started, and you think, great, now I can get caught up on laundry or emails or insert task I've been avoiding. But all of a sudden, find yourself frozen on the couch, just doom scrolling your life away. You're not broken or lazy or irresponsible. You're not a failure or a fuck up or whatever that inner bully is screaming at you. You're overwhelmed. But this is not just your ordinary run-of-the-mill overwhelm. This is ADHD overwhelm. ADHD overwhelm is different than other kinds of overwhelm. Ordinary overwhelm is the kind of thing that when you share it with your friends and family, their heads start nodding yes, and they get it. ADHD overwhelm does not have that same validation because not everyone's experienced it. ADHD overwhelm starts with trying to squeeze yourself into the box of a neurotypical world. So you mask your inclination towards disorganization, distraction, and seeing all the things at once by over-functioning. You go the extra mile. You set higher standards for yourself than anyone does for you. You power through your day, all in the hopes that no one notices how different you are. No one rejects or criticizes how you get through the day. You ignore your own basic needs. You forget to even get a drink of water or pause for meals or take a break. And you just stay hyper-focused and glued to that task in front of you, hoping against hope that one day you'll finally measure up, that you'll finally be enough, only to get to the end of the day and you're completely drained and absolutely have no gas left in the tank. When you share this with your neurotypical friends, they're a wealth of advice. They've got all kinds of ideas and suggestions to help you that you know will never work for you. So you smile, fake enthusiasm for the tips, and try to change the subject. When you get alone with your thoughts, that inner bully shows up just to beat the hell out of you in some kind of attempt to motivate you out of that freeze mode, but it only serves to drive you deeper into the couch and deeper into your phone. That's ADHD overwhelm. It's a biological response that kicks you into limp mode when your body is completely out of gas, and it's just shutting things down to preserve what little energy you have left. By the end of this video, you'll learn a different way to see this happening and a few ideas on how to work with your body to ease out of ADHD overwhelm and back into your life. To understand why this is happening, we have to look at polyvagal theory. Think of your nervous system like a traffic light. At the very top is the green light. In that green light mode, you're safe, social, and connected. You've got access to your creativity and your logic and your problem solving. And it's the place where we are most likely to say, hey, this feels like me. In the middle, yellow light, you're mobilized. It's your fight or flight system. It's characterized by intense worries, anger, fear, frustration, and irritability. At the very bottom is the red light, and that is complete shutdown and immobilization. And in that place, we feel more lonely, depressed, or hopeless. In between yellow and red, we get a hybrid state called freeze. And it's characterized by having one foot in the yellow zone of intense worry, anger, and frustration, and one foot in immobilization of loneliness, hopelessness, and depression. In this place, I find that a person's inner critic, that inner bully, shows up with a lot of harshness and just to judge us and make us feel guilty and shameful. And what that does is serve to keep us in that freeze place or even to push us completely into immobilization. ADHD overwhelm is often described as a cycle or even a spiral between these states of worry, anger, guilt, shame, and depression, loneliness, shutdown, immobilization. You may be thinking, great, I can identify it. Now, what do I do with that? How did I get here? And more importantly, how do I get out of here? I'm glad you asked. See, your body is constantly scanning the environment around you. It's scanning internally your sensations and thoughts and emotions, and it's scanning the space between relationships. And it's looking for two things: cues of safety and cues of danger. And when it does that math of the mix of how safe or dangerous it feels right now, our body moves us into one of those traffic light states that it believes is the best to meet the challenges of the moment based on our personality, our genetics, our life experiences, and even the nervous system responses of our parents and grandparents. When this neuroception detects more danger than safety, then it's going to start moving us down that traffic light into the yellow zone of fight or flight or down into immobilization of the red zone. Even if the smart part of us doesn't understand what it's detecting, our body is doing this at the subconscious level to protect us. And we know it's effective because you're still here. Your body has made the choices over your lifetime that has kept you alive and breathing to get to the moment of watching this video. That neuroception is always working in the background to keep you safe. Where we get crossways with it is when we disagree on the mode it puts us in. It's highly likely that whatever state our body picks is based on experience that has worked for you well in other contexts. But the nature of life is the context is always changing. And we start to call these things problematic or experience distress when we disagree, when the nervous system responses that got us to today no longer fit or work so well in our current context. And then we start calling it ugly names like anxiety or depression. When it's working for us, we say, I've got high standards, I'm conscientious, I'm dependable and reliable. Only when it starts getting in the way of our day do we start calling it those ugly names of anxiety or depression or trauma. It's important to know that this is a common feature of the human experience, and we share these parts of this system with all living creatures. You can even watch a fish go into freeze and hide mode when a bigger fish comes around. So you can relate to that fish. Hey, buddy, I know what that feels like when you go into freeze or into immobilization. Even though it's a common experience, it's also uniquely tuned and personalized to you. This is your personal variation of that. For those of us with a little bit of neurodiversity, our nervous system is going to be tuned differently than folks of a different neurotype. What that leaves us feeling is, well, kind of like the odd man out a bunch. And so we experience more of that immobilization of loneliness and depression. And then we try to mask it by using drive, and that pushes us up into yellow fight or flight, or in that awkward middle spot of freeze. And that's where most people get ADHD overwhelm completely wrong. It is not weakness or poor choices or character flaws. It is not laziness or I don't have discipline. I'm irresponsible. I'm a failure. I'm a fuck up. It's none of those things. It is the adaptive way our body has learned to keep us safe. Now, not necessarily happy, but to keep us safe and breathing throughout our life. And we know it's effective because here you are today. The truth is, it's actually my most successful clients who crash the hardest. Why? Because ADHD is making them push so much harder to achieve the same results. They've learned to do this without noticing the warning lights on their own dashboard. So the red light's flashing, crash is coming, but they've learned to look away from the warning lights and not pay attention, and so the crash is surprising. In other words, their body has learned to adapt to ADHD-related challenges by redlining their way through stress until the dashboard flashes so many warnings and their body takes over and puts them into limp mode just to stop the bleeding, to stop any more energy drains. It hits the big red button, so to speak, just to shut everything down until the body can restore some of that energy. This often results in a life looking like a fast-paced drive on a curvy mountain road. One moment you're on the mountaintop of high performance, and the next moment you're in the valley of crushing expectation, couch rotting, doom scrolling, trying to claw your way back up to the top. After 20 years of helping people with ADHD, I've seen this mountain road pattern of ADHD overwhelm destroy the connection with the people they love. And even worse, destroys even their sense of authentic self. It's not uncommon for me to hear, I don't even know who I am anymore. Who am I outside of my job and what I perform? The irony is that your drive for excellence can be that thing that pushes you into shutdown and further isolates you from the people that you love. And that's where that question is, who am I and why am I doing this? What is this thing I'm doing? Let me give you an example. Let's take a look at an ordinary Tuesday and how ADHD overwhelm shows up on a normal Tuesday. It usually follows this same 3-step sequence. Step 1, you're at work, you're at your desk, it's about 10 o'clock. You sit down, things start piling up, you feel the resistance, you feel overwhelmed. It's like you're walking through mud. You know you need to start something, but where do you start? There are so many competing priorities and urgencies that it's hard to know what to do. You putz around on the low-demand tasks, Slack pings, or you clean up your emails, and you just handle those low-demand tasks that are either very interesting to you or have some kind of interest to you, or they're very urgent and have some urgency to them. They may not be the priority, but they might be interesting or urgent. You fall down the rabbit hole on a few of those and fall into that hyper-focus vortex until around about 2 o'clock. You look up, where did the time go? And dang, forgot to eat lunch again. All right, so you're going to have to suck it up, Buttercup. You wasted the morning, and now we got to get something done. These are the things we tell ourselves. That deadline is looming. You got to do something productive today. The panic steps in. You stomp on the gas, and your engine revs up and hits that red line. You can feel the strain, but what a rush. Hey, there's my hyper-focus again. Come on over, hyper-focus. I need you. I love a deadline. I remember that time I did a whole month's work in an afternoon. This is my time to shine. This is where high performers live. You tell yourself as you re-enter that hyper-focus time warp, you re-enter that vortex of hyper-focus. You're answering emails, you're taking calls, you're moving mountains. You feel productive. But physiologically, your cortisol is spiking, your jaw is clenched, your shoulders are sore, your breath is shallow, you're driving 100 miles per hour in second gear. Shoot, it's now 6 o'clock, and we're now at stage 3. You get home. You squeeze the last bit of gas out of the tank, roll in on fumes. You get the kids situated, supper's cooked, homework started, everything's in a good spot. You barely make it through all of those things that are necessary and important when suddenly the engine cuts out. You enter limp mode. No more fuel left in the tank. Your body realizes that it's been redlining for hours all day, and it just pulls the emergency brake. It's a weird sensation. A mixture of pride of doing it all one more day, a little bit of frustration because life really shouldn't be this hard, a mixture of harshness saying, shut up and keep pushing. You should be grateful for what you have. This is where the damage happens. There you are, sitting there with that complex swirl of emotions going on inside and the sensations and the thoughts that go with them, just trying to limp your way through the evening, not able to really put words to what's happening inside of you. And your partner walks in and asks, how was your day? Or maybe, hey, you want to play a game or watch a show? Go for a walk. You don't even look up from your phone. You might or might not be aware that they entered the room. You might have heard noises that could have been language, but you're not sure. Your exhausted brain didn't convert those sounds into language for you to even understand what was said. Your face shows some irritation just from that whole confusing experience, and it's just a mix of all those things, and it crushes your partner. And they lash out. Well, I guess I'm not important enough for you to put down your phone and listen, and storm out. Instantly, that defensiveness stands up and says, no, you are important. I do love you. I want to hear you. But you don't have to approach me that way, or you need to do something different. As they storm out, your defensiveness kicks in, and you follow behind them, trying to convince them you care and that they really are your priority. Something gets lost in translation. It comes out defensively. And after an hour or more of tense interactions, you realize it happened again. Why can't I get anything right? What kind of a monster thinks TikTok or Instagram is more important than those they love the most? You continue on that thread, beating yourself up, and it feels justified in the moment, but it also serves to push you further and further into that limp mode and into immobilization. The irony is your drive, your excellence, your love for your family is what led you to redline, to hit the gas and push your engine all the way into the red throughout the day. But that drive and that push means you used up all the fuel you had, and by the time you get home, you got nothing left. You're doing this for them. You're working hard to give them a better life, but when it comes to actually living that life with them, there's no fuel left in the tank. And you feel angry, guilty, and hopeless and lonely. To soften this curvy mountain road journey of ADHD overwhelm, we start by noticing our warning lights and experimenting with different ways to work with our body, with our fuel, with our energy, instead of against it. The shift starts the moment you start to notice and label how you experience this ADHD overwhelm cycle. What does it feel like? What's it really feel like when the urge to push through shows up? What triggers it? Is there a time or a day or a pattern or a person or a task? What's going on there? What thoughts and emotions travel along with that urge to push through? What feels really true in those moments? Where do I feel it in my body? Is it a tension in the belly, a tightness of the chest, shoulders go up, tightness in the throat, tingling in the hands? Where do we feel that in your body? How can I help my body process these thoughts, emotions, urges, and sensations in a supportive way, a way that conserves my fuel for the end of the day when it matters the most, versus in a harmful, self-defeating, and depleting way? Asking your body, hey, what do you really need from me right now? I'm seeing the warning lights, but what is it you need? Do you need a stretch? You need a drink of water? Have I not eaten anything all day today? Have I not gotten up from the desk? Do I need to move a little bit? Go for a walk? Asking your body, what do you really need right now? This friendly, non-judgmental curiosity can help us feel safe enough to get some new insights and perspectives on what these warning lights really mean. We can use this sense of safety to leverage the ADHD superpower of our inner wisdom, our creativity, and our problem-solving skills. We can continue to listen and experiment to this inner wisdom to build a whole new toolkit that helps us maintain our high standards and our credibility without losing who we really are in the process and without losing those who matter the most. The truth is, we don't want to get rid of any of these protective and adaptive messages from our body. They are how your body has learned to help you through this journey with ADHD. We want to help you feel less at odds internally with yourself so that you can work together with your body, with your anxiety, with your emotions, with your thoughts, instead of against it, in a way that conserves your energy, that conserves your authenticity, and just doesn't blow it all away. Your drive is not the enemy. Your high standards are not the enemy. In fact, you can probably think of a time or two when they were the key component of your success journey. We just want to make sure that we're preserving them for the times and places that best serve you. For example, drive can be such a powerful resource when you need a push. It's kind of like a turbo boost. But just like turbo, if you run with your foot on the floor of the gas all day long, you're going to blow the engine. Turbo boost is great for a short sprint, but if you try to drive 24/7 like that, you're going to blow your engine. And if we treat our cars with that much kindness and respect, how much more should we treat our bodies? If you recognized yourself in this scenario, and if you're tired of doing that cycle of just redlining your way through life and through ADHD overwhelm and then crashing at night, I've got a tool for you. I've put together a guided exercise below. It's a 3-minute brain reset framework that's just designed to help you get more familiar with checking your gauges and helping you maintain that success and credibility you've worked so hard to build without blowing up your engine or your relationships in the process. Click the link attached to this video, give your engine a break, and let's get you out of the red zone.